why I moved to Korea. Living in Korea for 3 years now. Lifestyle in Korea. Quite special over here. What am I saying? Transport, food. Perfect. Social life. My highlights. Challenges. Really? The perks of living in Korea. Would I recommend Korea to you long term? Hello, good people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sila, but you can call me Shirley. For those who are new here, I am a South African currently living and working in South Korea as an ESL teacher under the EPIC program. So in this video, I want to share what life is like as a foreigner living in South Korea long term. Some of the ups and some of the challenges, and just trying to share some of my knowledge and experience that I've gained thus far. I hope you enjoy this video and you stay till the end. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. It will charge you nothing. But it means the absolute world to me. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Let's get into why I moved to Korea. So firstly, I'll start by sharing that I am an actual certified teacher. I was working as a high school teacher in Johannesburg, South Africa before I moved to South Korea. And working as a public school teacher in South Africa can be quite challenging, depending on obviously the type of school that you're at. You're overworked as well as underpaid. Unfortunately, that's how I felt. I felt like I was living from hand to mouth. So that was one major reason why I just needed a change. I also had always wanted to travel and see the world. Coming overseas to teach just made sense since I was already a teacher. In fact, side note, I actually studied to be a journalist, and I always imagined myself, being in these war-torn countries, reporting the news. So I've always had that adventurous spirit, but I ended up going in this direction instead of that direction. Basically, I was inspired by all those events of already being a teacher and wanting to travel and see different parts of the world. So I decided to come teach in South Korea because firstly, when I was doing my teaching English to speakers of other languages course, the TEFL or TESOL course, they told us about different countries that you could go and teach in, and Korea was mentioned, and they mentioned the EPIC program. That was the first time I was exposed to the EPIC program. This was a while ago. I'm sure it was like 2016, 2017 or so. That's when I started looking into come teach in South Korea, and I was just going down a rabbit hole, found all these YouTubers that I started following, and I just absolutely fell in love. Everything just seemed achievable to me, and life just seemed really exciting. I really wanted to come and see how life really was. I wasn't one of the K-drama stans or K-pop obsessed people. I'm still not one of those people, even though I've been living in Korea for 3 years now. Those things, just the lifestyle, Korean culture and life is what stood out to me more than what everybody else is mostly attracted by. That's basically what brought me to South Korea. Lifestyle in Korea. Life is pretty good here overall. In terms of apartments, accommodation, under EPIC, we get given apartments, or they give you money to pay for your apartment. On arrival, they will put you up in an apartment. In our province, they, set you up with an apartment, and they send you the money to pay for that apartment yourself. I know in other provinces, the school actually provides and pays for your apartment on your behalf. I didn't didn't know that there was that difference. I thought everybody was receiving their money, only to realize later that we're actually quite special over here. I'm pretty chuffed about that because we get the full amount. Even if you're living in an apartment that's a bit less than the amount that they're giving you, you still take the full amount and you do with it as you please. So when I first got here, I stayed in a, you know, a little mini apartment, not too far from here. And 2 years into it, last year, one of the other teachers was leaving, so she asked me if I could take over her apartment because it was just going to be a lot of work for her to try and get rid of a lot of her furniture. And I was like, hey, why not? It was only an extra 500,000 won. No, yes, only no, an extra 50,000 won. Sorry. What am I saying? 500,000 is crazy. An extra 50,000 won, and it's bigger. So you can go down my videos and you'll see an apartment tour. I show you guys how my apartment looks. I'm pretty happy. The apartments tend to be a lot smaller, but you know, they're comfortable, they're suitable, they've got everything you need. And honestly, I have very little complaints. I think when I got here, I had more complaints because you know, I wasn't used to the way things are. I was really like irritated with the idea of a washroom. I was like, the sorry. Other than that, I'm pretty chuffed with how everything else has turned out. Transport. Public transport is pretty efficient here in Korea. I always go back to the fact that I had a car when I was living in South Africa. Of course, I was working as a teacher. Let me not say of course, because you can be a teacher without a car. Ugh. I had a car and I sold it before moving here to Korea. So you would think that I would be, you know, missing my car and feeling like, oh, this is such a strenuous experience not having a car from having had a car. And it really isn't, especially here in Korea. I think obviously if I was living in South Africa and I had a car and had to get rid of it, that would have been a huge problem because public transport in South Africa is not great, you know? I'm not mad about not having a car. In fact, I feel kind of free and it's just easy to get around here in Korea, even though I live in a fairly small city. Some people would even consider it rural. I don't have issues. I have no issue just getting on a bus and getting to where I need to go. Once you figure it out, life is smooth sailing. Even traveling between cities and between provinces is not an issue at all. In fact, I think that in some cities you shouldn't even be driving because the traffic is just so intense. You would rather just use public transport. My partner and I, we travel around from time to time and he has a car. Sometimes we leave that car here and take a bus or whatever because it's just not worth it sometimes when the transport is just so easy and efficient, you know? Obviously, if we're going to a place that's closer, we'll take the car, but other than that, public transport is perfect. I'm happy with it. Food in Korea. So the food in Korea is not bad. I've heard a lot of people express how they absolutely love Korean food and listen, I'm not gonna fight that. Like there are some dishes here in Korea that I really enjoy. It just can be difficult if you're not someone that eats pork. So I didn't grow up eating pork gochai. So it was very difficult for me to like enjoy Korean food in its entirety. Yes, you can get the vegetable meals and whatever and a few chicken options here and there, but most of like the hearty food, you know? And just because I don't eat pork doesn't mean I don't want meat. That's also another thing that I hate. Every time, not every time, but mostly here in Asia, when you say no pork, they want to offer you vegetables. And I said, no, I still want my cheyenne, you know? I want my chicken, I want my beef, there's fish, there's so many other options. I just don't want pork. And I've discovered that when I do eat pork, I'm just not used to it. So my body tends to like react. I break out into hives. So it really sucks because there have been times where I have eaten pork by mistake, thinking it was chicken or just not knowing, thinking it was beef because man, they can make pork look like any meats. Yeah. That's what I would say about Korean food. In terms of like groceries, pretty pricey, especially if you compare it to back home. Things are crazy. I'm sure you guys have already heard. Fruits and vegetables, just insanely expensive. Meat as well. Oh, let's not even go there. So, having an option to eat school lunch is perfect because that's really cheap, affordable, filling as well. So, it's really great. But like I said, you'll have a problem if you just don't eat pork. You know, it's hit or miss. Most days it's really good depending on the school you're at, but there will be some days where it's just like, ah, really? Is this what we're eating? I think especially towards the end of the semester. Nah? I think they're just throwing in what they have and they're trying to finish off everything because obviously the schools are about to close and things can't go to waste, you know? That's when I start seeing Ramo. Patla ka rona. Ah, and I get so mad. I think last semester, one of the days, they served us tteokbokki. I'll put a picture over here of what tteokbokki is. It's like rice cake in that red sauce, and I don't like rice cake, honestly. It's just not my thing. I find it chewy and just it's just I don't see the fascination with it. Every time I see them put it into like their stews, I like go around it. I take the meat and the vegetables. Like, I'm just not interested in it at all. Like, don't give me rice cake unless it's like in another form, maybe like it's formed as a pastry around something sweet, but not red bean paste because I don't like red bean paste either. Yo, you know what? I will do a video on Korean foods that I just don't enjoy and the ones that I absolutely love. Anyway, that's what I have to say about food here in Korea. It's good. If you're living in a smaller town or city like mine, you're not going to get many options, unfortunately. You will have better luck with Korean food. So become accustomed to Korean food so you can really enjoy it. You won't starve, you'll be good. And you know, we're just different. We enjoy different things. Some people will say they are having a great time. They've got no issues. They love it. They have no issues with pork because yes, pork is cheaper and it's available everywhere. You will get it in every store will have an option for you. You will find the pastas with your bacon and your riblets and whatever. They will be enough for you. This is just my personal experience. Social life. So, in terms of social life here in Korea, from the time I arrived here, I didn't really have an issue making friends because I arrived here obviously with other teachers and luckily we connected. I would say if you want to put yourself out there, you should because the friends and the friendships are not just going to come to you. Staying indoors all the time, honey, it's not going to work that way. So you really do need to put yourself out there. There are options, online options. There are groups. I've seen many posts on like South Africans in South Korea, the groups that we have like on Facebook and Kakao Talk. A lot of people just putting in messages saying, I'm new to this city and I'm looking to make friends. And people meet up for coffee and, you know, they put themselves out there. That's the only way you're really going to make friends. Sometimes, unfortunately, you may be put in a city that's like a lot further away and you're just maybe the other foreigners there are not as friendly or you guys just don't click. I don't know. But you just have to put yourself out there overall if you want to make friends. Yeah, that's all I can really say about the social life. I would say that it is a much younger crowd. So yeah, I mean, you're good, bestie. I'm sure you're young. You'll be good. I'm a bit older. So, a lot of the friends I made are a lot younger than me. So, I had to adapt, you know, to a certain extent because I come from having friends my age in South Africa. There's a lot of things that we were already doing, things you would expect someone of my age to do. And then you get here and you make friends with people who are like fresh out of varsity, who have never had a job, who are just ready to get out there, people who've maybe never dated. And there's just so many things that you're just like, I forgot that there's that phase in life. So it can be a bit challenging depending on how you are as a person. I'm young. I'm not like knocking on 60 or anything, but you will have to adapt to a certain extent. I will say the social crowd here in Korea is a lot more youthful, and yeah, that's all I've got to say about it, really. My highlights. So, of my time here in Korea, I've got many highlights to share. I think I will start with being blessed with decent, good schools and really kind co-teachers. I think I've really been lucky because you hear of stories where people are just encounter horrible co-teachers who just mistreat them and, make their lives difficult or really just don't care for them. I think I was really lucky from the moment I got here. I got a really caring co-teacher. You do notice, and they warn you about this, that your co-teachers are obviously Korean teachers, so they are under a lot of pressure. So you do try and not overwhelm them. But I was lucky with the fact that I got co-teachers who tried. At my first co-teacher, she had young kids. She's a wife and she's obviously a Korean teacher. So she's got a lot on her plate, also having to, take care of me. But she really did the most and I appreciate everything she did. My other co-teacher at Okuku, I remember her name because we were pretty close, Mira. Love her so much. I actually have a video here on my channel with her. There was a day I spent with her. She took me around. We went to the pine tree forest and we went for lunch. And she also took me to her Buddhist temple because I did tell her that I was quite interested in seeing how they worship and pray. And I had such a wonderful day with her. Yeah, she was really cool. So I've been blessed, and yeah, ever since then I even changed schools and got new teachers. Dambi was wonderful. Jongyun is so wonderful as well. She's really cool. We have the best chats. Yeah, even now I got a new co-teacher. She's wonderful as well. Very, very helpful. Other highlights have been meeting my partner, of course. I've never really actively spoken about him here on YouTube, but he has obviously just appeared in my videos and I've been very, very blessed because it's just not something I saw happening. And we met 2 years ago and we've been growing strong ever since. That is one of my biggest highlights of being here in Korea because it's really been so wonderful and I just thank God for the experience. Let me not get carried away with that. Another highlight has been being able to travel and see the world. Oh my gosh. Finally, finally my time came and I was just booking flights, honey, booking hotels, honey. It's been wonderful. I'm so grateful for it. I just don't think I would have ever been able to do any of this if I remained in South Africa, unfortunately. By the way, I'm so sorry for the noise you hear in the background. It is my AC. Very little I can do about it, but I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear me. I'm clear, right? Challenges. Some of the challenges I could mention just off the top of my head: work-life balance. So you're not overworked here in Korea as an ESL teacher unless you're at a hagwon, unfortunately. Sorry to say, but that's what I've heard. I've never worked at a hagwon, but if you do your research, you would know this. At the public school, you will not be overworked. In fact, I'd go as far as saying that I just don't feel like I'm teaching as much as I used to teach in South Africa. I don't feel like I'm doing the work. I'm working, but the expectations are different. I feel like in South Africa, when you're there, you're working. And if you're not working, it's easy going. It's like, oh, okay, you need to go to a doctor's appointment, go off. I mean, we won't even write it up. Chill, do whatever. Oh, you're coming in late? Do you have classes? No. Cool. But if you do have classes, obviously things are different. That's when we start to have issues. But here in Korea, it doesn't matter how free your schedule is. It just doesn't matter. You're just clocking in is so important. And there are times during the semester where the month will be crazy. Like this semester for me, I've got quite an intense timetable. If something were to happen and I needed to take one of those days off, no one necessarily makes you feel this way, but you will feel a lot of guilt because the culture does not necessarily promote that, you know? I don't think any culture necessarily promotes not coming to work, but it's slightly shunned upon without anyone verbalizing it to you. You see it in the way your co-teachers work. I don't know when last any of my co-teachers took a day off. The only time they do is if something is really, really wrong with maybe their children or something. But even if they are dying, mask up, honey. We are here at work. They will go to the hospital after work because for them it's completely different. If they miss a day, they have to make up their lessons on their other days. So they have to rework the timetable, and whatever classes they missed on that Wednesday, for example, they need to be slotted into their freeze on the following days. So it's a lot of stress, not just on them, but also on the people who have to reorganize the timetable. Can you imagine? Whereas in South Africa, yeah, it wasn't condoned for you to miss work, but if you did for something serious, you just have to somehow figure out something with your kids. Maybe make up some extra lessons after work, or use your time more efficiently. Try to make a way to hurry up and make up for that time that you lost. And I feel like in South Africa, because you have the responsibility, you have certain like goals to hit, you think of the fact that, oh, if I don't come to work Tuesday for whatever reason, these kids are going to be screwed and it's going to reflect badly on me, you know? That's what sort of like discouraged you from being nonchalant about taking a day off. So in Korea, you will feel a lot of guilt. There is a bit of a work-life balance thing that isn't quite balanced. You have to figure that out for yourself. It was pretty tough for me when I first got here. And especially when you're new, it can be very, very overwhelming. You will figure it out. So that's what I'm trying to say. Work-life balance can be pretty intense. Another challenge I'd say is like government service websites. Even banking websites. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Oh, just trying to do something so basic on, I'll say, government service websites, banking websites, or just applications in general here in Korea are so complicated. Like doing something so basic requires a degree in rocket science. You know what I'm saying? A degree in patience and perseverance. Because man, you will sit there trying to figure this thing out. Like, oh, so tiring. Oh my gosh. And then you must go between the apps and Papago. Screenshots, go to Papago, read what it's saying there. When I first got here, trying to like authenticate my number and connect it to my ARC, and the way your name is written on your ARC, just by the way, because here in Korea, your last name becomes your first name on your official documents. And the way they've written it is also very important. If it's in caps, wherever you go, whatever is linked to your ARC, you must write it exactly the way it is on your ARC. And you know, obviously, when you're used to writing your name a certain way, you're gonna forget from time to time. And at times, you also just don't realize that, oh, this thing, it just needs me to write it in capital letters. Oh, it needs me to put a dash over here. And my name doesn't have a dash. But this application, for whatever reason, or website wants me to put a dash. Yeah, anyway. But I do appreciate how secure things are. I will say that. I love the fact that like there's all this authentication and this attention to security for me. I think it's very, very important. So I love that for that. Other than that, it's stressful. So learn how to read Korean for your own sanity. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Another challenge is the fact that people will avoid you. You will automatically think it's because you're a foreigner. In my case, oh, it's because I'm black. Which isn't always the case, of course. Maybe that will be your first thought, but it's also to do with the fact that Koreans are not trying to struggle to speak English with you. It doesn't matter, even if we're sitting in a bus, they will just avoid sitting next to you because the pressure of possibly having to speak English is so much that they would rather not. So people will avoid you sometimes and it will feel weird, but you'll get used to it. I mean, I think I've just learned to accept it. It doesn't bother me. I hear a lot of people complaining about how lonely they feel here in Korea, but I don't care if people just don't want to sit next to me and talk to me. Like, I really don't care. I'm not bothered. Like, you sit over there, I'll sit over here. As long as there's no animosity, because people are still kind to you, people will still greet you. The struggle of having to try and put English sentences together they don't want. One tip I have for foreigners is like, be very, very patient and be very willing to fill in the blanks on behalf of people who are trying to speak your language to you. That is very, very important. So when people apologize, I tell them, I'm the problem. I need to know Korean because I am in your country. You know, Koreans will apologize for their inability to speak English, which I don't think is fair on them. The perks of living in Korea. Number one is the safety, honey. As a South African, you know, safety is everything, which we are unfortunately lacking. I love that about Korea. I love how safe it is. Oh man, it makes me so happy. It's just, it's wonderful. I wish it upon every country in the world. Safety, the ability to just go out and do what you need to do and not have to worry about the most useless of things. You know, the economy thrives on the fact that it's safe here. The fact that these delivery companies can just leave things at your door and go. Oh, Mudim. Guys, do you realize how important that is for a country's growth? Like, I really, really appreciate that about Korea. On Sunday, we were at dinner. My partner and I were at dinner with his colleague and his wife. And I asked them, like, hey, where are the kids at? And the one's like, oh, my daughter's at a movie with her friends. And my son, I actually don't know where he went. He left earlier this morning. And I'm like, what? Only in South Korea? Because he's young. He's like 10, 11. He's like, yeah, I don't know where he is. He's outside. I just told him that they must come back in time to get ready for bed. That's all. Because they were supposed to actually come have dinner with us as well. So yeah, it's just, like, how amazing does that sound, guys? Imagine you're just at ease, not having to think about something that we shouldn't have to deal with. Love, love, love that. The convenience of Korea. Man, Korea is convenient, it's efficient, Korea is the girl she thinks she is. Oh, I love it. You know, it's just, I don't know, there's so many examples I could give. I love the fact, like, when I order clothes from Zara, for example, I order clothes from Zara to try them on and send them back. Order shoes from Nike to try them on and send them back. I do not need to go into the stores. Like, just send them here, try them on, doesn't fit well, return. Tomorrow morning, the delivery guy who's coming to pick it up from your apartment is sending you a message before you leave for work, Ibile, and he's already like, remember to leave that package outside, I'm coming to pick it up. Cool. Like, things like that. Or yeah, obviously I can order food right now. All my toiletries, I get them from online. Like, I don't go into stores. Yes, I still pop into Olive Young from time to time to compare prices, because, you know, prices are like this and like that. I'll do that from time to time, but most things I'm just buying them online, and I don't need to be here to get those things. There are times where over the weekends, maybe I'm not here and I've ordered something on a Friday and it's coming on the Saturday. When I come back Sunday or on Monday, it will be there waiting for me. Guys, like, what are you saying? Korea is amazing in that sense. So love it for that. So many other things I could express right now, but it's really, really efficient, really, really convenient. I expressed the convenience and efficiency of the transport earlier. The mind your business culture. Love it. Love it for me. Nobody cares. And I think it's more so when you're a foreigner. Yes, it exists generally for everyone, but even more when you are a foreigner. Nobody cares. Everybody minds their business. People do not want to go out of their way to have to talk to you, so they will not. And yes, that comes with cons, of course, because yeah, you could say it breeds loneliness in communities and somehow, you know, isolates people more. But Korea is a mix of a very community-centered culture as well as a mind your business culture. Like, I don't know how they merged those two ideologies or mindsets, but they do it so well because everything they do in public is in consideration of the next person. Yeah, that's just how they think. That's like an Asian thing. They think about the next person. So those are like important things in their culture, while also just minding their business. Nobody's trying to have small talk with you, or I don't know, looking at you funny because you're dressed different or something. Mind your business culture is a thing. Like, you will have a bad hair day, and trust me, you're not gonna feel like anyone's looking at you different. And maybe that's also because they don't understand what's going on here. Not that I'm having a bad hair day today, just by the way, okay? But nobody really cares. I mean, yes, you'll have those who are familiar with you wondering, huh, your hair is short today, what happened, you know? But other than that, like, nobody cares. I love that. I really appreciate that about Korea. And I think being a foreigner makes it even that much more amazing. Final point. Would I recommend Korea to you long term? Yes, I would. I really, really would. I think this is a wonderful country to build a life in. It's just a place where you could really grow as a person if you come here alone and you just plan on being here alone, or as a family. I don't think it's always easy to move here with your family unless you're coming with some insane skill, because Koreans are already really smart and they've got almost everything they need already. You will be very, very happy for the most part, and especially if you just give it a chance. Don't come here after 6 months or a year and say you're done. You need to give yourself a chance, because living here comes with living through different phases of the life that you are creating for yourself. It's not going to be the same from the moment you got here. It is going to change, and you need to be willing and open to go through those phases of your own life, because this is the life you're building for yourself. But it's coming with the beauty and the amazingness of the country that is South Korea. So you can mold it in ways that maybe you couldn't have back in your home country. So really, really just be open to it and come to Korea. You will really enjoy it, trust me. Guys, that is the end of my video. I think I spoke for a lot longer than I really should have. I plan to make another one of these very, very soon. If you have anything specific that you would like for me to speak on, mention that in the comments. Make sure you leave a comment, even if it's not about something you want me to speak on and you just, want to support me and say, hey, leave a little wave, a little kiss, a little heart. I'd really, really appreciate it. Get the algorithm working in my favor. Make sure you like the video as well. Share it with your friends and your family. And you can follow me on Instagram at Shirley's30s. I will leave my handle over here, and you can also find it in my description. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I hope this information I provided was helpful. I hope that my experience of living in Korea has added to your knowledge of Korea. Thank you guys. See you in my next videos. Bye bye.